The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Clackamas Fire District, Oregon, job number 29734. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. First, let's start down at the front bumper. There are 2 tow hooks located in the front bumper. Moving up onto the body, there is an emergency warning light on each side. Moving down to the headlight cluster, your left and right turn, in addition with your headlight. Moving to the center of the grille area, you'll find 2 forward-facing emergency lights. Moving over on the top of the fender on both right and left side are your turn indicators. Moving up to the top, you'll find your handle for lifting the hood of your front vehicle. And on each right and left side, there is the latch tie down for the hood. Up on the top, you'll find your running lights, and at the very top, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Let's go ahead and take a look at the side of the apparatus, once again starting in the front bumper. This is your electronic siren. Moving up onto the cowling itself, you'll find your air intake. You'll also find in the lower section of your mirror a convex mirror, and the upper portion of the mirror is a flat mirror. Down at the very bottom, you'll find additional perimeter lighting. In the very front, you'll find in the silver cap, silver tank, you'll find your diesel fuel, ultra low sulfur. In the blue cap, you'll find your DEF 4.5 US gallons. Moving up to the midsection, you'll find the number 1 cross lay in yellow. You'll find a number 2 cross lay, and then you have an additional dead load. Let's start with the pump panel. On the left-hand side, you'll find this latch. This is a latch to access behind the panel. We'll go ahead and start at the lower section. This is your pump intake. Moving up to the very top, you'll find your pump discharge. These are both of the master gauges for your apparatus. Moving back down to the very bottom, you'll find the vacuum and pressure test ports. They are currently plugged. Moving up from that location, this blue area, you'll find your water tank level. Moving up to the very top, you'll find a set of switches. The first one is the panel lights. The others are currently blanks for future locations of switches. Down at the very bottom, the black circular is your audible alarm. Moving up from that is your Pierce TPG. This is going to be your throttle and pressure governor. Moving to the right, you'll find all of your information regarding your PSIs in addition to RPMs regulated for each pump. At 150 PSIs, you're at 1,686 RPMs. At 200 PSI, you're at 1,262 RPMs. And at 250, you're at 1,893. As an indication, it's to pump in neutral. Moving down to the lower section, you'll find number 1 crosslay in yellow, which we talked about earlier. The number 2 driver's side discharge in the red color. Moving over, you'll find your number 2 passenger side discharge. Both 1 and 2 are 2.5 inch discharges, and you'll find your tank fill recirculating line. Down to the lower section, you'll find your number 2 crosslay in white. Moving to the very center, you'll find the engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. Moving to the right in green, you'll find your large diameter passenger side discharge. To the right, you'll find your tank to pump. Moving just beneath the tank to pump, you'll find instructions regarding the pump primer. And I have some close-ups of that in the next set of images. Next to that, you'll find your primer for the fire pump. Here's some close-ups of those images we just talked about. You can see they're all color-coded, labeled. As we move down to the very bottom, you can see that the priming instructions are to have your engine at a minimum of 1,000 RPMs while priming. Down at the lower section, you'll find a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. This is the 2.5-inch discharge. Moving to the right, the large silver cap. This is going to be your pump intake. 2.5-inch auxiliary intake. Auto eject shore power. Just below the auxiliary, you'll find your air inlet. This is that 20 amp shore inlet. As we move underneath the apparatus, you'll find perimeter lighting in addition with the number 1 driver side discharge drain and also the driver side auxiliary inlet. These are all drains. Moving in just inside the roll-up compartment in the first compartment, we'll talk about this item. This is going to be your shore power battery charger. As you can see, all the roll-up doors within inside the compartments have lighting. Let's move to the rear of the apparatus. Down at the lower section, you'll find reverse backup lights, turn indicators, stop, and also warning lights. Moving to the side, you'll find 2 compartments. This is location for your rigid hose storage. On the left-hand side, the very top, you'll find your indicator for visual identification of your tank level. Emergency lights at the top. Moving down to the bottom, you'll find a right and left closed tow hook. There are also a set of switches on the left-hand side. We'll talk about those in the next set of images. There are also 2 direct tank fills, 2.5-inch, and also your chute in the very back. Let's look at the very top on the left-hand side. This is your tank indicator. Down at the bottom, you'll find your direct fill 2.5-inch inlet. Down on the lower left-hand side, you'll find your rear scene lights and also hosebed lights. There is also an additional 3rd switch just underneath. This is going to be your rear dump valve. Moving to the other side, let's talk specifically about the dump valve itself. Located on the swivel location, you'll find this adjustment. This is to release the mechanism for it to move in the outward position. Once it's in the outward position, you can extend the chute by simply releasing this latch, allowing it to completely pull out to its full extension position. Generalized view of the side of the apparatus. This is the passenger side. Looking down in the lower left corner, you'll find an additional storage compartment roll-up door. In between your dual wheels, you'll find emergency warning lights on the side. Looking into the compartment itself, you can see you have an adjustable fixed shelf with lighting. Also located here is a warning label regarding the exhaust temperatures and location of parking for that exhaust concern. Generalized view here of the midsection of your pump. Let's start first up at the very top. Same configuration with the crosslays and dead load. Moving down, you'll find an access panel door to gain access behind the pump panel. You'll also find your powered equipment rack. Moving further down, you'll find your large diameter passenger discharge in green. Just beneath that, you'll find the 2.5-inch discharge and also your large diameter intake. There's also a warning label regarding pressurized caps and the hazards associated. And just underneath that, you'll find all of your discharges. On the upper section, you'll find emergency warning lights and also your side scene tank level. This is an image of your tank equipment rack in a down position for access. Moving back up to the front of the apparatus, you can see that there are perimeter and step lighting on both right and left side of the apparatus. Overhead, once again, you have the indicator for your tank level. On the side, you'll find additional storage for hose. We're now inside the cab area over the operator's head. You'll find a set of switches. On those switches, you'll find the emergency master, lower zone, rear zone, a future location, your siren horn selector, and also the rear scene lights. Moving just to the right of this location, more in the center of the apparatus, you'll find an additional set of switches offering the left and right scene, and also your dump valve, which is a protected switch. On the dash itself, you'll find indicators regarding pump engaged, OK to pump and roll. These three green indicators are all indicators, they are not switches. To the right-hand side, you'll find a amber tank rack down indicator. Moving to the center, you'll find your parking brake, pull to apply, push to release. Moving to the right, you'll find once again a protected switch for your PTO pump. Moving to the right, the high idle, and also your audible alarm reset. Moving down to the bottom set of switches, you'll find your regen information here and switches for that. Moving to the right, you'll find your mirror heat. There are two additional switches for your inter and differential locks. Moving to the very far right in the red, you'll find your do not move truck in a red warning. Just beneath that, you'll find your OK to engage the high idle. And currently lit, you'll find your battery switch as it is indicating it's on. Located between that and the set of rocker switches, you'll find your Pierce seatbelt information. Currently displaying red, the seat is occupied but not belted. And down at the very bottom, you'll find your climate control. Moving up onto the top, you'll also find a digital readout. To the driver's side, you'll find the height, length, and gross vehicle weight rating. Down on the seat itself, you'll find this Pierce placard in yellow, indicating the manufacturer. It also indicates the date of manufacture, August 2016. Your job number, 29734-03. Gross vehicle weight rating. The tire limited and maximum speed. Also the type of chassis, which is a Freightliner. Down at the very bottom, you'll find the vehicle VIN number. Over to the left-hand side, as the progression here, you'll find your fluid capacities with the device, fluid, and types. Congratulations, Clackamas Fire District, Oregon, on your new apparatus, job number 29734. If you have any additional comments or questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales associate. Thank you and congratulations.